Hi guys, welcome back to OKG. I know it's been a really long time since I've actually done a podcast and even a mini pod at that, which I was trying to use to fill the gaps a little bit, but unfortunately I just didn't get the time to do that as well. Kind of taken some time off because I had to and also because I needed to as well. But I thought I'd come back because I know that obviously due to the current situation of coronavirus, everyone's currently at home. I've just been placed on furlough myself, so because otherwise I was working from home for the last 3 weeks, but now I have to kind of figure out a routine for myself, which I think is the same as what everyone else is trying to figure out what to do as well nowadays. So obviously, those who deal with mental health issues, it's a lot harder because obviously before we were on lockdown, we were able to go out, we were able to meet friends, we were able to hang out, go to work, meet our colleagues, and interact with people. And now it's sort of been condensed to just interacting with the people in your home or like Skyping friends or video calling friends on WhatsApp and your family on WhatsApp or Skype. And it's very hard because to staying at home, it kind of narrows down the amount of choices you have or what you can do, because in this digital era, like we have a lot of devices we can use. We have iPads, we have phones, we have TV, we have laptops, computers, you name it, we've got it. But I feel sometimes as as good as those things are to connect with other people, sometimes there are other things that might be a bit more healthier mentally to do as well. Like, for example, luckily we have actually been having some good weather, which I'm a bit worried about because I'm wondering if we're just going to get the good weather now and then we're not even going to get a summer when we are actually, hopefully, we'll be coming off lockdowns. I'm like, oh God, I hope we're not going to have like a rainy summer or something once we've come out. Um, but yeah, I think the main thing is obviously we're staying at home, but I think device time is all well and good, but I don't think we should just subject ourselves just to being on devices all the time, because then it's not very good for your physical health as well in terms of your eyes. I myself am trying to limit device time, trying to like do some reading, trying to do some sketching, just going out in the garden, um taking those naps that I never would be able to when I'm at work, because obviously, I'm always busy when I'm at work, and I don't have the luxury of always being at home, and because there's many people who are working from home anyway. I only just started to work from home twice a month, but then obviously I've been placed on, just like everyone else, on complete lockdown and staying home all the time now. So, but I think we take it for granted. I think the little things that we're not able to do when we're really busy, and like catch up on sleep, I think is one of them, definitely. um Going back to maintaining a routine, I think it's important, but not so much as to, if you don't, you know, maintain it like consistently, I don't think it's a huge issue, because I know there are some influencers have been saying like, oh, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you're just a loser, you're just wasting your time, blah blah. But to say that to people who struggle with mental health, I think it's a bit insensitive, because at the end of the day, yeah, you can um you can maintain a routine, but if you're not consistent about it, doesn't mean you're a failure. Or if you thing is, these days, even if you're just procrastinating with the amount of time we have, even if you're just procrastinating about ideas or just thinking about things, you're still doing something. It's not like you're doing nothing. So I don't think anyone should be hard on themselves and feel like, oh my God, I'm not doing anything, I'm a failure. And just because other people are sort of projecting that as well, it's just not right, because at the end of the day, even if you're doing one or two things, it's still doing something is better than nothing. I think we should look on the positive side of that. Like by myself, I find but the thing is, at the same time, when you do find something you can focus on, it does make you less likely to overthink about things that probably don't need to overthink about, so, and stress about less. So like, for example, even if it's just sketching, even if it's drawing, even if it's writing poetry, even if it's going into the garden doing some gardening, even if it's doing exercise, any of those things, I think really do help derive your focus away from negative things and towards more positive things. Like, thing is, it's one thing I would say about lockdown is an opportunity to be able to reflect with yourself so you can grow as an individual, because thing is, with hectic lives that many of us lead, like sometimes it does make it harder, and I think these things can help with your mental health because you're directing your focus elsewhere. Because I know at times people can feel trapped, and having focuses on other things and able to feel like they don't feel like as, you know, closed in, and they're able to, you know, just, like, I myself, I know it's very calming. That's what I feel. Even if you sort of make a little timetable of like stuff you want to do, like I'm sort of compiling some stuff I just want to do throughout the day, just little bits of that, but it doesn't have to be so consistent, like it's like a sort of like that ends up being like a chore. That's what you don't want. I think just doing a couple of things a day that are a bit different, so you're not, for one, not spending all your time on the screen, and getting a bit of exercise, well, because as you know, we can't go outside, and even if we can, we can just go for little walks or to do essential shopping. So luckily for us, we have a garden, so we can go outside there and sit there, but many people don't have that, so it's a bit harder for them as well. But yeah, even if it's just getting a little walk in for like 20 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, and or doing a bit of exercise. I think even doing something a bit more creative is really good, just to help to stimulate the brain as well. I think a lot of people like to have been cooking and baking, which is really cool to see. But on another level, I think even if you want to, like, for example, I work in marketing, and we've been asked by like our management, like, oh, and our colleagues, oh, we should look at some personal development courses, which I think is a really good idea, because our company is so hectic at the moment, like with all the stuff we're doing, we don't really get time to focus as much on personal development, so we're kind of learning as we're going along. But when you actually get the time, I feel like with us right now, because we're on furlough, we actually get the time to do some personal development and do some courses on at online sites like Udemy. I think it's Udemy. And so I'm going to be having a look at those, but I'm also going to be doing ones that I'm interested in myself that probably have literally nothing to do with my job, just because I find them interesting, and just because it's cool to learn something new. But as I said again, it's not adamant. You don't have to learn it. It's just like, if you want to, the choice is there. Like if you want to do an Udemy course, the choice is there. You can learn something new. It's good for professional development. It's good to learn new skills and like build up on the ones you already have. In general as well. So like for me, I want to learn a 3D software called Blender, which is free as well. If you guys are interested in that, that's free. I'm also doing some marketing courses as well that I'm going to start very soon. But at the moment, as I said, I'm still sort of compiling some sort of routine that's somewhat organized, but it can be like replaced with other things. Like if, for example, one day I don't feel like reading, I want to watch TV, I'll watch TV. Like it doesn't have to be so restrictive. And I think on the weekend I'm just going to chuck the whole routine out of the window, because at the end of the day, like weekends you don't really have routine. So but weekdays, I feel like, I don't know why, I've always just had this in my head that you have to be doing something on the weekday, because otherwise it's like just kind of like, what am I doing right now? But that's just me personally, that's just how I feel about my own life. That's just me. That's not to say to anyone else that, like, if you're not doing something on the weekend, then what are you doing? Like everyone has their own way of dealing with things. All I can say is, being at home during this coronavirus pandemic, which is very serious, by the way, it is very odd, because it is very similar to when I was looking for a university job. A job after university, after finish university, because I was at home, and it is very competitive to find a graduate job after you finish uni. And I was actually at home for like a few months. I might have mentioned this in one of my previous podcasts. I think it was A Helping Hand. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out as well. It kind of reminds me of that, because I was home quite a lot at the time, but the only difference is, obviously it's not completely the same, because I was able to go outside and I was able to go shopping. I was able to meet my friends, because some of them were in the same position as me. So it is very much different to how it is right now. It's not the same. It's but there are some similarities in terms of like feeling a bit alone, feeling by yourself. And I think that's when you should reach out and just talk to people, or as I said, like just do something that derives your focus away from overthinking about the fact that you're by yourself, just so it can help. Similarly to what I've been doing, like I write poetry and prose. I've been trying to get back into that. I've had a bit of a writer's block for quite a while, but I've been trying to get back into that to just drive my focus elsewhere and put that energy into something else, instead of just overthinking about things I do not need to think about or overthink about, sorry. But I have to say, one of the things I did enjoy for a little while was when were told that we were working from home about 3 weeks ago, I think it was now. I was like, yay, I can be sitting in my pajamas all day. Little did I know that it would get really, really depressing really quickly because it was just really boring and I wasn't really able to do anything or go anywhere. And I was just, oh. Because obviously, if you're working from home, you do need to reply to emails and answer phone calls and things like that. But so it can be a little bit restrictive, but it's just less restrictive in the sense that you can just walk around your home, you can get lunch when you want, you can eat what you want, you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder or anybody just asking what you're doing. Not that I had a lot of that anyway, but it's just, no one's like looking at you basically, you're doing what you're doing. But the only thing that's missing is that you don't get to interact with your colleagues and you don't get to have conversations about work like you normally would do, which tend to help quite a lot in terms of tasks you're doing. So I think that's probably the only thing that I definitely really did miss. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're hearing about coronavirus all the time. Literally, it's shoved in our faces most day. When you turn on the TV, any website you go on, there's a message on there. And I think for me personally, I kind of don't purposely watch the news every single day because most of it is still pretty much the same information. There's only a few bits and bobs here that are new information that's coming through, but because the situation is changing every single day, we don't know when we're going to come off lockdown. Some people are not listening to people saying stay at home. Um, and obviously and our NHS are actually doing an amazing job as well. So I think we should help them by staying at home so that doesn't the pandemic doesn't increase even further. But from what I heard, it will be because unfortunately, it is spreading. But I think the best thing we can do is just to try to keep calm. Easier said than done, I know, but and also try and sort of create some sort of a just do some other things that you wouldn't normally get to do because you're busy with work, school, uni, anything else as well. And sort of, I guess it is easier said than done, but try and look at things in a more positive light. But as I said, like, I know it's not easy for everyone, especially those who have anxiety, those who have um you going through depression and mental health issues. I know I'm I understand that very much so, but at the same time, I feel like it's the little things that make the big differences. So I think the little things in terms of, you know, just keeping our focus on other things as well and just sort of avoiding too much um TV of like, news, especially because at the end of the day, I think that's just gonna create more panic. And I think it's good to watch it every now and then to see what changes the situation there has been. But I think watching it all the time, which is what my parents have been doing, and it's just a bit like, no, can we please turn it off? Because it does end up being very depressing. It does end up having an effect on your mental health because you're constantly seeing the same thing again and again shoved in your face. And it is reality at the end of the day. I completely understand that, but sometimes you don't need to constantly view something that you already know quite a lot about now, and you're taking precautions, you're keeping safe. So I feel in terms of updating yourself on the situation is fair enough, but constantly having to see it, I think is can be get a bit unnecessary. Also, guys, don't forward unfactual info like WhatsApp messages or follow info blindly, as this can cause extra panic and anxiety. But yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to comment below on this video and just tell me your experiences of how you're dealing with this situation at the moment, and sort of just interact with each other. I mean, I'm going to put this on Twitter as well, and YouTube, obviously. Might put it on Instagram as a post, but just, just I just want to know what everyone's going through and how everyone's dealing with. If you're going through mental health issues, or how are you dealing with your situation of having to be at home all the time? And is there anything good? Is there anything positive that you can share with everyone else in terms of that has come out of this lockdown? I mean, obviously lockdown is not the most positive thing to hear in the world, but I mean, I'm sure there has been one or two things that you feel like is positive, like if that's spending more time with your family, if that's being able to focus on some of your hobbies that you really love that you don't get time to do, if that's just being able to get some more sleep or whatever. Anything really, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to, it doesn't it's nothing's going to sound stupid, to be honest with you, as long as it's something that you enjoy, something that is positive to you. I think it's great. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening to coronavirus and mental health podcast today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, we'll soon be having more podcasts. But thanks for listening. Bye. So I've basically been saying to Rive's focus from coronavirus pandemic during the whole podcast. I was actually just trying to say deters your focus from the pandemic, but okay, you can clearly see it's getting to me a little bit.